I'm your host, Greg Ambrosius, and all this week we are talking to our 2023 NFFC National Champions. Tonight, we have the one and only Duke Viveros of Highland, California. Duke, welcome to the show.
Hi, Greg. How are you? Great to be here.
It's good to have you. You're looking good, my friend. You're looking tanned. You're looking good. How's everything in California?
Life's been great. It's been really hot out here. It kind of cooled down to about the mid 90s, but I couldn't ask for anything better. Everything's going really well right now.
Awesome. Awesome. All right. Okay. So this is going to be a fun conversation tonight because Duke won our 2023 NFFC Silver Bullet Championship and that $50,000 grand prize in the wildest way ever. Wait till I tell you this one. You're not going to believe it. I mean, wildest way ever, and in the closest national championship win ever, and the closest you could ever get as well. So you're going to want to listen in on this one. Let's not give away the story just yet, Duke. But how does it feel to be
Okay.
sitting here right now as the 2023 NFFC Silver Bullet Champion?
The monkey's off my back. I finally been, stopped on the 1 yard line after 20 years trying to get it. And it's just unbelievable feeling. I can't be more happy every year we talk. I'm going to win this sucker. I'm going to win the sucker. Yep. And I come back close. And the way I won it was just unbelievable.
It's unbelievable, and we're going to talk about it. So, all right, just to remind everybody, the NFFC Silver Bullet Championship has been around for only 5 years, but I really think it's the most unique national contest in the industry. Each owner has just one team, literally one shot at the title. Last year, we had 252 unique owners. This year, we're going to have 264 unique owners. That's 22 unique leagues, right? Separate leagues, 22 separate leagues. Duke, I know how much you want to win the prime time and the $250,000 grand prize. I know how much you want to win the RotoWire Online Championship title and the $250,000 grand prize. But winning the Silver Bullet with everybody having just one shot is really an incredible accomplishment. What does this title mean to you?
I was reflecting on that, because how I play in the prime time in the OCs, and they have just one shot. That's it. That's all you get. You have to hit, so now, looking back on it now, to me, that's even more special than the other one. You only got one shot. You got one bullet, and that is it. The other ones, you got multiple bullets to fire away. Not in the Silver Bullet Championship, And so the way it came about and the ending from the draft all the way to the final Sunday at 4 in the afternoon when the games were over, it was just unbelievable highs and lows, and then ended with a monster high to win it all.
Yeah, and that's the truth. Duke says every year, I'm going to win the prime time this year. It's my year for the online champion. He's been chasing the national titles for a long time, but he finally got one this time, and we're going to talk about it now. But hey, this is a contest that was actually started by our customers. I didn't come up with this idea. Our customers came up with it. It was their idea to create a single entry national championship. And when I heard that, I thought, that's brilliant. That there's definitely a need for that. And I think you're going to agree too, Duke. I mean, you do a lot of multiple entries and other contests, but this industry really did need a single entry national championship. Yeah, the grand prize isn't as great, but it really is special and really, again, tests everybody to get that right, that one team right, correct?
It's a signature contest. Nobody else does it in fantasy sports. To say, hey, I got one shot and I won it all against all contests everywhere. Anybody can get in this. So to me, I think it's one of the most coveted titles to win now because of that.
Yep, absolutely. And you got it. Okay, let's get into this championship season right away. We've been teasing everybody about how this finished. You drafted your Silver Bullet team live first weekend in Las Vegas. Great bunch of guys. We had 12 live drafters there. Everybody had a great time. I know you love the live events. I have a feeling you want to draft your Silver Bullet team, even though it's against tough competition, live rather than online, right?
Yeah, it don't matter. I want to be live. I want to be there. I want to play against the best, and it's just such a great feeling to do that. That's what you're here for. This is what we want to do. Go Vegas live, against the best, and then to come out on top at the end. What a feeling.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, you drafted 9th in this league. That was a position you really liked last year. I mean, you were picking that 8, 9, 10 spot so often last year. Why was that?
I love the turn on the 9 and then coming back 6 picks later, going wide receiver.
Yep.
I just found it great, and then coming back again the receiver, and then rounds later I was able to hit gold. with
Yeah.
my running backs.
Yep. Okay. Well, you did exactly that in this draft. You started out with CeeDee Lamb, who was just fantastic at the 8, 9, 10 spot. Calvin Ridley, you went with. Then you got DK Metcalf. Those were your first three guys. Then you went with three straight running backs: Joe Mixon, James Cook, and Rashad White. Again, this was a pattern you did a lot last year, right? You saw the turn with third round reversal. You saw the running backs as bargains in rounds 4 and 5. Common theme for you, right?
In all my draft. That I mean, I went that with day one. You know that. You know how
Yep.
many Rashad Whites I had. You know how many
Yep.
James Cooks I had. I mean, I was just everybody's making fun of me. I was
Yep.
taking those guys all the time, but I mean, they led me to the promised land in all the leagues everywhere, and it was amazing.
It was really funny because guys knew who you were drafting before you did it. And I did a lot of live streams with you in them. And at that time, you were doing a lot of number 12s and number 11s. I know
Yeah.
you remember.
Yeah.
And Tom and I would say, he's been doing that a lot. 3 wide receivers, 3 running backs. And at the live events, they're like, Duke, I know who you're picking next. And you don't take very long when you pick at the live events because you kind of know who you're picking, right?
2 seconds. That's it. 2 seconds. That's it. I'm ready. Let's go. Yeah. Everybody's going, slow down, slow down. Let's go. Let's go. I'm ready to go. Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay. So the first part of the drafts, you can do very well, right? But you can't win it completely with those early round picks. You need some bargains late. You got Nico Collins in round 9. You got Sam Laporta in round 13. What did you see in those two guys that you liked last year?
Oh, I love Nico the year before at the end. He had little injuries, but I thought he could be a lead dog over there.
Yep.
That's exactly what happened.
Yep.
And then also in round 10 was Jacoby Myers. I
Yep.
mean, I was all over him from May all the way through. He averaged 13 points a game when he was with the Patriots. Now he's going over the Raiders, a horrible defense, and that's exactly what I thought would be happening. And they were just absolute money for me all year long.
Yep.
You know, Njoku in the 11th round.
Yep.
You know, Laporta in the 13th round.
Yep.
And then there's Jake Ferguson there in the 18th round. I mean, are you kidding me? To have all those 3 tight ends, it was just really, really well. It worked out really good for me.
Yeah, you gave that away. I'm going to talk about that, but no doubt about that. I mean, the depth that you had was fantastic. And what about Laporta? What did you see from him? Because, again, he was going 13th, 14th round. I mean, rookie tight ends don't take off like this kid did, but my goodness, what a year he had.
Yeah, I just get landing spot. He landed to me in a perfect spot. What's his name was suspended, the wide receiver.
Yeah, Jameson.
So it was Amon-Ra.
Yeah.
I thought, what a perfect landing spot for this guy. And I got him everywhere, Greg. I can't tell you in how many leagues in that spot. 15th round, 14th round, 13th round.
Yeah.
That was number 1 tight end going off the board, you know. So I was just all over him, you know, and that was my key, I think. And then we'll talk a little bit later, but picking up some players in the free agents. But that Laporta was and then Njoku, if you remember in the 3-week sprint, he was unbelievable.
Yep.
So what a combination that was for me.
Yeah, absolutely. I got to ask you, do you get worried when you go on certain guys? Like you said, you had Cook and Rashad White constantly. That was a definite. You know, I'm not so much about Laporta because that's round 13. But do you get worried about having too many shares of some of these players?
I do, but I mean, I'm going with what I'm feeling, you know. And if I go out, so be it. That's just the way it's going to go. I'll mix it up every now and then, sure. Yeah. But if you saw the percent, I mean, 50%, 45% shares of like 100 teams, you know, I've done of Rashad White and James Cook, you know, Jacoby Myers, you know, Laporta. Those are the guys that I just wanted on every single team. Yeah. And I hit it. I hit with those players last year.
Absolutely. All right. Let's talk about quarterbacks. You waited on them. You got 2 in round 8. You got Dak Prescott in round 12. I mean, again, you're just looking at the values you got here.
Yeah.
I know you liked Justin Fields a lot last year. You took him, but I mean, in this league right here, landing these 2 QBs were really better for you, right?
Yeah, that was, I mean, with Tua was in the 8th round, and he was a disappointment. I mean, the Dolphins, my God, every time they got in the goal line, they had 21 rushing touchdowns last year. Right. I mean, are you kidding me? And Tua was not a very good fantasy quarterback.
Yeah.
And then there's Dak, you know, in the 12th round. Are you kidding me? When I got CeeDee Lamb, you know, already, oh my God, you know. And then a couple of weeks later, I get CJ Stroud for a bag of chips for like $100 and some, you know, on the free agency. Yeah, this kid's looking pretty good. Let's take a shot at him. I don't even think anybody does a backup bid when I got him for 155.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, it was just crazy. So yeah, the quarterback. I've never had a draft, Greg, where when I walk out of that draft room on this team here, is like I got every single player I wanted.
Yeah.
You know, and then the last 10 rounds, the players I got were just incredible. The only player that crapped the bed was Elijah Moore in the 7th round. But other than that, it was just one of those drafts. I went walking out the door going,
Yeah.
that worked out really, really, really well. It wasn't like, I wish I would have got so and so and so and
Yeah.
so. No. I got everybody I wanted. And injury wise, was Nico. If you remember, I had missed 2 or 3 weeks toward the end, but I had Jacoby Myers, and he was an absolute gold mine for me, but other than that, I just cruised through the whole season, and it was crazy. It's like, please, nobody get hurt, and nobody did, and it worked out well.
Yeah, that's awesome. It doesn't always go that way, but
No, not at all. Yeah, complete opposite. That's why I was just shut up. Let's keep going. One game at a time.
Yeah. I got to ask you, are you waiting on QBs again this year then? I mean, that seems quarterbacks are going even lower this year than they were last year. What's your thought on QBs this year?
Yeah, I mean, what a difference from second, third round quarterbacks going last year.
Right.
And now, I mean, cat out of the bag, but what are you doing taking a quarterback early? You can get 2 really good quarterbacks rounds 8 through 13 and team them up and, mix and match stuff. That's the way I think anyways. But don't get me wrong. Stroud's there in the 5th round or something like that too. One of those elite quarterbacks. Of course, I'm going to take him too. But yeah, I'm still holding off. I've never been an early rounder quarterback.
Yeah. All right. You also took San Francisco's defense in round 14. You took Justin Turner, Baltimore's kicker, in round 16. I mean, you got an edge at those positions. I know you kind of streamed the defenses and the kickers after the bye weeks and such, but what was your strategy there, trying to get an edge up on those 2 categories as well right away?
I always do that. I think, to me, nobody takes advantage of that, in my opinion. Why not? Your team's set. Why not take them in the 14th, 15th round instead of taking a 6 wide receiver or 6 running back? Just go strong, and get 10, 12 points a week. To me, that's gold.
Yeah.
And then when the last chance, I think week 14 to pick up free agents for the sprint, then make your move, which I did. And I went after Butker, the Chiefs kicker.
Right.
He probably wanted me $50,000 with 6 field goals on that Sunday.
Yeah.
It's stuff like that I look at, that I think other players should say, hey, I might want to do that.
Yeah. I mean, Butker did win a lot of money for people last year, and you don't think about that with kickers. That's why you see people, get rid of kickers. Who needs kickers? No, they score points too. And why would we just want to eliminate that? So, all right, you already mentioned this already. You took David Njoku in round 11, Jake Ferguson in round 18. I mean, at that point, after round 10 and such, you're looking for depth. But here you got 3 tight ends. You don't have to worry about fab on tight ends anymore, do you? Unreal.
I hardly spent any money the whole year, honestly. I think Stroud, unless I bid like $700 on a kicker in week 14 because I had so much money left over. That's how crazy that particular league went for me. Where all of the leagues, it's a grind, and not so much this one here. It was just hold your breath with this team, because I just hit on every player. It was scary. I kind of just cruised the regular season, and I think I won by 100 some points in the regular season, and it just got better. After that, I've always said it's fine what you do the regular season, but what you do the 3-week sprint. Yep. And that's what I finally got it. I finally held on and got it.
Good stuff. All right, we've teased enough. Let's get right into this team here now. It was, like you said, good from the very beginning. You won the league title by 100+ points. You won the $5,000. You entered the championship round 3rd overall. There were 65 teams in the championship round, but you were also battling for the overall titles in the prime time and the RotoWire Online Championship. You were in the top 2 overall in those 2 contests in week 15, and you were 3rd in the Silver Bullet in week 15. What the hell was going through your mind as you were looking at 3 national titles possibly?
It was insane after week 15. I think I had 4 teams, the top 8 teams in the online championship. 4 of them were my teams. And in first in prime time, I was 2nd overall, and another one it was in the teens. And then I think I started in 3rd place. I think I put like a 180 or 175 in week 15 for the Silver Bullets. I was like 1, 2, and 3 going into week 16.
Yep.
I knew that. So it was just nuts. And I had like 15 teams in the top 40 in the online championship, in the OC, so it was a lot of restless, not many good sleepless nights for me for that 3-week sprint. Let me tell you, my dog's can attest to that. If they found me sitting in the chair during those 3 weeks, how
you're
crazy.
You're supposed to be relaxed when you're in I got teams like that.
No, especially the Sunday afternoon when Matt's team, he went bananas to put like a 240 burger.
Yeah.
And he had the Kansas City stack. I was sick to my stomach watching that.
Oh, unreal. All right. So this silver bullet team, like you said, scored 186.8 points to remain in third place after week 15. Then you moved into first place, 148.65 points in week 16. So you're in first place right now. How are you feeling? Knowing you're first place in this contest, yet you're still managing those other teams in those other contests that can win overall titles. Stress, like you said, yes?
I've been doing it for 20 years, but if you say there's no stress, you're lying. Of course there's stress. No, of course if you had any fingernails, they're off. If I had any hair, I'd be pulling it out. And decision, am I going to start, so-and-so running back or James Cook? And it almost cost me because James Cook didn't do anything that last week, and I had the Bengals running back, and he I would have won with like a 10-point. I would have felt a lot better. But I made all the right decisions, and stress, yes.
A good stress, though. A good stress.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So here it comes, everyone. Now comes week 17. You score 176.05 points for what seems like a nice cushion. But then our friend Matt Shepard comes from 26th place to first place by scoring over 234 points. In the last afternoon game on Sunday, Matt had Patrick Mahomes, Isaiah Pacheco, Rashee Rice, and the Chiefs kicker, and he scored over 90 points to temporarily take the lead from you. Then, to close out the game, Mahomes takes 2 kneel downs, loses 0.2 of a point to give you the title by 5/100ths of a point. You beat Matt by 0.5 points to win the title.
Literally. I mean, there was a minute and 58 seconds left in the game. And the Bengals, after you talked about it, he completed passes to Rashee Rice, Pacheco, all that. And so I know I'm barely losing. I'm done. I mean, I'm done. Here we go again, another second overall. Yeah. And then the Bengals get a couple first downs. And then fourth down, they throw a Hail Mary incomplete. And there's 58 seconds left in the game. And my ears pricked up. Wait a minute. Mahomes going to take 2 kneel downs, And so sure enough, he does the one. And then another one right at the end of the game. And Greg, I hit the refresh button. I'm not lying. A million times in like 4 minutes waiting for the update. And then when I saw I barely won literally by inches, I about fell out of my chair. I couldn't believe it. Yeah, I could not believe it. It was the most, and I felt super bad for Matt, but not as bad as the way I was feeling, at that time, and it's like, I got it. I finally.
Hey, and there could be scoring changes, not till Wednesday.
That was the stress part. That was the stress part. Waiting 5 days, that was like, don't do it to me. Don't do it.
Yeah. Because, it could happen, and it does happen.
Absolutely. Nothing I can do. It's out of my hands.
Yeah. It happens every week, so it's crazy. You picked up, like you said, Kansas City's kicker in week 14, and he scored 26.1 points for you in week 17. So you at least kind of countered Matt's big day, right?
They just had to offset his kicker, so that was good,
Yeah, that was huge for sure. So I got to ask you, have you ever experienced anything like this in your life? The emotions of you need a Hail Mary and it actually comes through for you. We all need a Hail Mary, but it never works, right? And this was one that, have you ever had anything like this happen?
No, and it'll never happen again. I'm never ever going to complain again if somebody beats me in the last second of a game. Because to win that way, it was like, all right, I got back, for all those horrific beats that I got, it just goes in full circle. And this time it worked out for me. It's just the most brutal way to lose for Matt to lose that way. It's just brutal. You'll just never forget that. We'll never forget that kind of loss.
No, for sure. I know you ran into Matt. You were in Las Vegas at the Mirage for our NFBC main event. Matt was there, and you guys had a really nice hug. And I know you know Matt, and Matt is a great guy. But what did you say to him?
I said, I'm so sorry, man, but what he goes, at least I lost to one of the good guys. Is what he said on there. He's a class act, all the way, and he's a total gentleman about it, which I knew he would be anyways. We gave each other a little hug and a couple of fist bumps, and and I wished him luck in baseball.
Yeah, and you'll see him in Las Vegas for sure.
For sure. Yeah. You froze up there, Greg.
Of a day, but the loop kind of.
Oh, there you go.
Sorry about that. I just was saying that Matt, he definitely understood. He went from 26th place to first place, so it was a
Yeah.
hell of a day for him.
Oh
But
my goodness. Yeah.
you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
so
Yeah. Yeah.
but that's the way it goes. Okay, so you've got a lot of NFFC teams that are fab leagues, and we know that, right? Like you said, can be at almost 100. So how do you manage all of them on Wednesdays and Saturday nights when it comes to fab?
It takes me about 40 to 60 hours a week, that much, Greg, to do my fabs on Wednesday and Saturday.
Yeah,
And fortunately, I'm retired now, and it's something that I love to do. I think which gives me an advantage over a lot of players. People still working, the kids and the family and all that. I've done all that now, and this is like my passion, what I love to do there. So
hmm,
it really, really helps me, and that's all I do. I just grind and grind and try to get every stinking point I can
yeah,
in every single week, because that does make a difference, as you can see by winning by a couple inches.
right.
On the final week of the season.
Yep. So you did pick up CJ Stroud, like you said, for 155 in week 4. You bid 390 for Jaleel McLaughlin in week 5. But I mean, honestly, free agencies last week, there wasn't a whole lot, but you needed something like that and then a Kansas City kicker to really get over the top. And that's what we talked to Will Miles the other day. Same thing with him. But you got to admit, free agency was kind of barren last year, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was sparse. I mean,
Yeah.
other than CJ Stroud, I picked him up on a bunch of leagues, like in week 2 or 3, say, hey, this guy might be something.
Hmm.
Before he exploded a couple weeks later, he went for
Yeah.
every shooting their fab on him for 800 and 700. I was able to get him on the cheap for like $100 in a bunch of leagues. And that was key to me in so many other leagues where it won me a
Hmm.
lot of money with
Yeah.
CJ Stroud. He's my number one, because I was high on Tua last year, and he was killing me. And so
Yeah.
Stroud stepped up in there. He was amazing.
Yeah. So what do you think? What's it going to take to win another national title? I know you've got your sights on them. You're not just content winning this one.
No,
So
no.
what the heck's it going to take?
The same preparation, the same prep, the same everything that I'm doing now. I'm going to do a draft an hour from now, just that draft only,
Yeah.
and try to get the best team that I can. Um, I even though I finally got to the top, you want to be. I mean, I want more.
Yeah.
I want to win more. And I put so much work into this, and it pays off. It really,
Yeah.
really does. And I just want to keep continue doing what I've been doing, and win more titles. That's what I want to do.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so you're coming to Las Vegas both weekends for the live events. And I know everyone loves the live events, but I swear you love them as much as anybody. I mean, you just love the live drafts. You just love that competition and smack talking on the tables. Just talk about your experiences, because you've been doing this for 20 straight years with us. Some baseball, but certainly football. But what has been the experience of the live drafts for you as a person?
I love going there. I love picking each other's brains. Billy Wasowski's brain,
Yeah.
and I get the other people's brain, and we form a camaraderie. Now it's going on 20 years,
Hmm.
and it's just, I love everything about that. Sitting at the live table, walking around, looking at other boards, talking to other people. And hey, how are you? How are you? And now you're friends for 15, 20 years, and again, the food, of course, is amazing that you do that, and then, we draft for 5 straight, or for me,
Right.
10 straight days, and then we all end up that Sunday, at the Westgate,
That's right.
watching. It's just so amazing to do that, and again, I've said this time and time again. Once you do a live draft in Vegas, I swear to you, that's all you're thinking about the following year and the following year and the
Yeah.
following year. Let's go. I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
Such a great time.
Well, you introduced us to the best time, which is going to the Westgate on Sunday. I mean, we work hard out there. I'm out there for 12, 13 days. But then on Sunday at the Westgate in a theater, 9 games at once, all on big screens, everybody cheering for every play. Ooh, ah, because it affects
Yes.
everybody differently, whether
Yes.
you're gambling or fantasy. To me, that is the highlight. And I bring a couple dozen NFFC guys there, and it is so much fun. So if you do come to Las Vegas, come with us to the Westgate. It's so good. But you've been going there for 2 decades, and you know
Yeah.
how good it is, right?
Yeah, it's so good. And I told you about it years back. And
Yep.
then, you have the following, again, 40, 50 people waiting in line
Yep.
to walk through those doors,
Yep.
watch all those games. And it's such a great time. And
Yeah.
again, it was good luck for me last year. And I'm doing it again this year. You know what's coming, a bucket of Coronas for you, that Sunday afternoon too. That could have put it over the top for me last year.
You have
So
no idea how good luck that is for me because I drink them all. I don't share
yeah,
them with
yeah,
anybody. I drink all those Coronas. So,
yeah.
I think my brother Mike probably steals a couple of them, but yeah, no, it's so good for sure. So, yeah, you're happily retired. You're living a good life, like you say. You're playing fantasy football, but when you're not playing fantasy football, you have another passion that you're doing. It's called poker. What's that all about?
Yeah, I love it. I just got back 2 weeks ago. I was for 2 months. I was in Las Vegas playing in the World Series of Poker.
Yeah,
I had an Airbnb for 2 months, and I won one tournament. I had 9 other cashes, which kept my head above water, during that time.
yeah,
And it's a rush. It's like a similar, making the playoffs in fantasy sports. Making a final table. Can you win it all? The thinking, the preparation,
hmm,
everything it's just an amazing experience to do that. And fantasy football is just so similar. And what a time I had. And now it's just full bore with you guys and NFC, all these drafts, and I just can't wait to do it again.
yeah. Well, good stuff. Well, you deserve this life, that's for sure. I mean, people may not know you were a California sheriff, I believe, and I think we talked about this before. You were on an episode of Cops one time, right? I don't know if you want to talk about that, but you had some hair back then, and you were on Cops.
Yeah, I did 31 years with the Riverside Sheriff's Department, and I was a detective, and I did every assignment you could do with homicide and gangs and sex crimes against children, and you name it, I did it. And retired about 8 years now, and now I'm just having the time of my life.
Yeah, well, good stuff. I'm glad of
Yeah.
that for sure. All right, you've done several drafts so far. Uh, any interesting trends you're seeing? The QBs going later? Anything with the tight ends? What trends are you seeing right now, Duke?
Yeah, there's a big difference from last year to this year. Quarterbacks, in my opinion, you can wait now. They're really falling. You're not seeing Mahomes and Philly quarterback, and Buffalo quarterback going in the second round, or people trying to stack in the Kelsey, Mahomes, or stuff like that. They're going
Right.
like in the fourth round now. And then for me, I like the rounds 8 through 12 and stacking a couple quarterbacks there and mixing and matching. We'll see how the rest of the year goes, but as of right now, I really like that a lot. And I like building up my team with strong wide receivers, two good running backs, and try to throw in the tight end.
Mhm.
And the tight end's different. Tight ends, they fell in quite a bit too. With Laporta's going number one, arguably
Right.
now. But there's some nice tight ends that you can pick at rounds 4 through 7 where they can really make your team really, really strong.
Yeah, the tight end has gotten an influx of young, good tight ends in the last
Yes.
year, and it's a much better position. We used to call it catcher position, right? Because that's
Yeah.
always weak in baseball, but no longer.
No.
That's a good looking position right now for
Yes.
sure. So, hey, I know we got a long ways to go yet, but right now, do you have a draft preference? Like I said, last year you were towards the back end. Are you looking that way this year, or do you like the front end? What are you looking at right now?
I've done purposely from the front end and the middle and the end.
Right.
And I've done two on the front end, or maybe one or two, but I love the first couple picks, 1 through 4.
Hmm.
But I do not like the coming back in the second round, but then I love the 3-4 turn,
Okay.
starting on the one end, so, back and forth with that one. In the middle of the draft, I've always said you can build any kind of team you want, in my
Hmm.
opinion. Like rounds 5 or picks 5 through 8, you can do anything you want and make every team look different and very, very competitive. At the end, too, some people like the receivers, at the end there. I mean, which I always like that too. I've done a
Right.
couple of that too, but then I like Gibbs at the turn there.
Hmm.
Going with a stud wide receiver, something like that.
Right.
He could be the number one running back in football this year. I mean, he's had that much talent. Montgomery with injuries and age now. I mean, Gibbs can argue be the number. He could just be an absolute beast to get him
Right.
12, 13 on the turn.
Right.
Watch out. You can build some really good teams that way also.
Yeah, that's interesting because at the back end last year was just loaded with wide receivers, and you definitely were taking two wide receivers. But there's the Barkleys back there, and Gibbs is back there, and
Yes,
Jonathan Taylor's back there. So
absolutely.
you certainly can build a different team this year from that 10 through 12 spot,
For
right?
sure. For
Yeah.
sure. Absolutely.
All right, I got to ask you last one here. Rookies. Marvin Harrison Jr. is going in the second round. Malik Neighbors is going high in early drafts. Are you in on the youngsters? You certainly benefited by Laporta last year, so you don't shy away from the youngsters. Are you in on these young guys or not?
Yeah, I am. I really like them. They're really good. Even the kid that went to Jacksonville is going in the 6th round.
Mhm.
I like him a lot. I don't know about Neighbors throwing money around, like he did a couple of weeks ago. But that kid's exceptional. Yeah, he's really, really good.
Yeah.
And I think he's worthy of a third round pick, early fourth round pick. He's that electric. And yeah, I'm high. I am high on rookies for sure. I am not discarding them. I want them. I think Harrison's elite. And again, he landed in a perfect landing spot. I mean,
Right.
my goodness, how great is that for him to land there? So,
Yeah.
Short of an injury, I think he's gonna do very, very well this year.
Yeah. All right. Congrats again, Duke, on the title. It was great talking to you. I will see you in about 6 weeks. Best of luck this year in all your leagues. Just can hardly wait to do it again. We'll see you out there in Las Vegas. Okay, buddy?
Sounds like a plan. It's always a
All right.
pleasure.
All right, sounds good. Just a reminder, everyone, that this is NFFC Champions Podcast Week. That's right. I'll have interviews with 2023 NFFC National Champions every day this week. I got them Friday, Saturday, and Sunday yet. Next up is Jeffrey Kozlowski, winner of the 2023 Primetime Championship title. I'm going to talk to Jeffrey on Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. If you thought Duke had a wild story, wait to hear Jeffrey coming from, well, way back in the pack in week 17 to winning 250,000. Can hardly wait to talk to him about that. All right. We'll do that tomorrow on the High Stakes Fantasy Network YouTube channel and on my Twitter account. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you again tomorrow. Good night.